Hello, I'm the Noob21, and today I'm going to be showing you how to mod Mario Sports Mix for the Wii. Now, this game is not normal as far as modding. If you've ever modded like Mario Kart Wii or some other Wii game, it's a bit different and it has its own set of tools just because it does not use the normal file formats found in like first-party Nintendo games. This is my favorite Wii game, so I just thought I'd make a tutorial about it. So, first off, we need to have the game files. If you haven't seen my video, it's going to be in the top right hand corner, and it just tells you how to extract the game files from an ISO or WBFS that you've ripped from your own disk of Mario Sports Mix. Next up, we're going to need the main tool we're using in our video. Made by my good friend Yosh, it's Mario Sports Mix Deluxe Tools. So, right down here, you're going to need all of this. Don't worry too much about it, but we need Weems SZS tools and Weems ISO tools in order for this to work, along with Python if you haven't already installed that. So first off, we're just going to download this folder and save it to our modding folder. As you can see, it's downloaded there. And Weems ISO tools and Weems SZS tools are pretty crucial. If you don't have this, if you've already modded and you don't have this installed to your system, you're going to need to install this. So right here, there's all like different versions. So there's a Linux, Windows, or Mac OS. So I'm going to use the 64-bit. I've already installed it, but basically you just download this, unzip it, and then there should be an exe or an executable file of whatever your operating system is, and it says Windows install.exe, and then it's going to take you through the process when you do that. Same thing with SZS tools. It's basically identical. Like, you can barely see that I changed the page. So you're just going to get the Windows version for me, but if you're on Mac OS or Linux, then you can use that too. So once you've had those two installed, we can exit out of our browser and then go back to our folder. So right here, I'm going to extract with WinRAR. You can also use 7-zip, whatever you use to extract 7-zip files. And then right here we have a Python file. What this is it's going to install the tools to our system. It doesn't exactly install it to our system, but it just puts it in our local disk directory. So we can just double click this and you're going to see welcome to the Mario Sports Mix modding app installer. So it's developed in Python. If it doesn't run, make sure you have Python 3 or higher installed. And so terms and agreements, I'm just going to click agree. You can review it, but it's just going to take a while. So after a bit, it should ask you, please choose your install directory. Now, I recommend if you're on Windows, just go to your main drive, which is C. But if you have an OS other than Windows, you can either do a local movable directory or use an OS, and you can change this. So right now I'm just going to click on the C drive, install it there. It's going to open in your default image editor, like how to use it. You can type the script name and it will run here. I'm going to show you this in a bit, but for now, all we need to know is finish the installation. Go back here. It's going to ask you for permissions and click yes. Don't worry, this is perfectly safe. It won't do anything to your system. So if you go to your local disk, and you're going to see a new file folder opened called Yosh. And it's going to have all of these applications. Now, all of these do different things, but basically, we can just go to MSM PYW, open this up, and it's going to have the app menu. Now, like in the image editor, like it said, I can just type in MSM, and it's going to open up. Now, what if we want to use, I'm just going to show you really quick, it's called LH for what we use to compress and extract the files. So we open this up, And as you can see, it's going to extract and compress the files, but we're not doing that right now. We can just type in LH and it's going to pop up. We can do this anywhere. So I can go back to my desktop, go here, type in LH, and it's going to open up this. That's the cool part about this. So we can delete the installer. We don't need that anymore. How about we get to modding? So we can go to our game data, to files, and then you go to character. I'm going to open up a Google Chrome tab, and then I can go to this little website. This is a bit outdated of a website, but I still recommend using it for cool stuff like the file system information and characters list of stages and like documentation of this game. So I'm just going to do a quick little texture hack of a random character. So how about we do Daisy? So we see that it's C03. So you can exit out of here. And then we want to find the MDL extension that has 30C. Now as you can see, there's two of these. Which one do we pick? So it's almost always going to be the first 001. Because if there's another one that has like 01 at the end, that's going to be an alternate costume. Like you can see down here, this one has 02, 03, and like so on. But we just want to click the main one, so it's going to appear in game. So we see that there's a bunch of different type of C03s. There's one starting with B, with C, and there's one starting with H. So basically, the B starting one is the final boss battle. It has a different, like, I think it's higher resolution or lower resolution character model. It's a separate file though, so if you want to have a complete character, we're going to need all of these. This one is for everything, all of the sports, almost anytime you see the character in game, except for hockey, which is right here. So I can control click all of these. I'm going to copy them and I could bring it back to the folder. So we can start a new folder called Daisy Texture Hack. So open up this, paste all of our files right here, and you'll notice that we can't open them right now. There's like no possible way. One more thing I needed to mention, you need Brawl Crate too. So if I try to open it up in something like Brawlbox, it's going to give me unable to recognize input file. So that's where the tools come in. We type in LH like we did before, and you'll see that now we have our files show up. I can click each one of these and we can convert it to a format that we can use. So now we see that we can take each one of them and open it up in Brawl Crate. If you don't have Brawl Crate already, I'll link that in the description too. So you'll see we have 3D models, textures, animation texture.pat, which is basically the eye textures, whether you're like winning or losing or what the character is making. So this is a blinking animation. And then we have external. This is very important, but we need to delete the external. So what this does is it could be using any like objects that's not directly within the character model. Like if we open this up, we can try to identify it. These are the pom-poms that Daisy uses in her special move. So we just need to destroy the external folder, because if we don't do this, it's going to crash within game. Like it's just not going to work. So now we can just open up our textures. But wait, there's a better way to do this. If you've like modded another Wii game before, you'll know that like you just click export right here. But there's a way better way to do this with the compression method, and this will work for every texture in the game. So I'm just going to click yes since I destroyed the external folder, and we might as well just do that now for every single one. So what we can do here is we need to go to our MSM app folder, or app menu, and you'll see there's pack textures and dump textures. These are what we're going to be using just because it's so easy, and just there's a lot less work needed to do. So I can click on dump textures and it's going to go up right here. Now you're going to see all of ours like pop up here. So we can just extract all of these, and you're going to see in the command prompt that it's extracting all of them to a usable format. So basically there's going to be all of these files, and I'm just going to use the C because it's going to match up with everything. Now you're going to see we have our daisy texture here. This is going to be everything except for the eyes, because the eyes have their own animation. Now what we can just do is we can just edit it to our liking. I have paint.net, which is a great editing software tool for beginners. I can just do adjustments and make her skin all weird and everything. But it can just change the hue value. So like you can have Daisy be like pink or purple or whatever you want. So just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to have like, I don't know, a blue Daisy. How about that? And like make the saturation a little bit less so it looks nicer. Now you're going to notice it's going to not look that well, but don't worry about that. It's going to appear fine in game. So I can just save this daisy.txt, and you know what? Why don't we do the same thing with the icons? So luckily the icons are stored in the same file, so I can just go to adjustments and have the same icon. So this is going to appear in game. So what we can do is save both of these. How about we do the same thing to all of the eyes and cue the time lapse. And so now we can all save this. So we can just click the X and click OK to every one of these. Now, of course, the process is going to be a little bit different. You can do it to your designing if you have a different image editor. So now what we want to do is click all of these, all of the textures that we have edited, and we just want to bring it to all of the others. So we can just replace and replace. Now you notice that there's these right here, the black textures. Now these don't really do anything. They're just for a little bit of background shading, but there's literally no difference, so you don't have to change any of them. And neither with the M icon. This one isn't really used in game, however you can replace it if you'd like. So now that we're done, we can just exit out of this, our old packing tool, go back to our folder and click pack textures. Now you're going to see that we have all of ours right here, and they have the same name as the decomp. So we can go back to the app and choose our packing method. I'm just going to click auto so it decides which one we use for us, and it's just, you don't have to choose between. It's going to automatically make sure it works in game. So we can click each one of these. It's going to tell us we replace the textures, and that's great. So if we go back in Brawl Crate, you're going to see that our character has been changed. And we can go to preview, and we now have a blue Daisy. But of course you want to see it in game, so I'm going to show you how to do that. We can just exit out of here. Now we want to get it back to the MDL format. So we can just exit out of this, go to our MSM file, extract or compress, or you could just type in LH right here. And as you can see, there's file compress now, and all of our files are showing up. So you can click each one of these, and it's been replaced. It's now been replaced in these MDL format files. So I can control click all of these, copy, go back to the tutorial, and we can go to our files and just paste them. We can replace the 3 files. And now we can open it up in Dolphin just for a quick try. So here we are in the game. Now you're going to notice that once we get here, it's not going to show up. So we click right here. And this isn't because we've done anything wrong. It's because there's a different file that contains the menu and tournament models for the characters, which also have like the separate textures, so it's not going to be shared over. However, we can go in game, so I'm just going to go into a game really quick. As I was saying, going into the game, we have Toad here, and we have Daisy. We can see that she is definitely blue. And we can go into the game, and we can see that her icon has also changed. So this is great and all, but we want to change it to where you can see it in the menu too. So right now I'm just going to exit out of Dolphin and show you how to do that. So there's files in the same character file in the folder right here named menu.mdl, and if I scroll down, tour.mdl. We need to copy these, and I'm just going to stay organized, so I'm just going to say menu tour and paste it in here. We can go into our apps, but this is the wrong directory, so we can just go to LH. We're going to see menu and tour, and we can open them up now. This is great because we have all of our characters, and we have Daisy right here. As you can see, she is unchanged, but we want to fix that. So just like we did earlier, we can exit out of this, MSM. We want to dump textures, and dump the textures of menu and tour. But you can see it's not working. Now, we might be understanding, why is this not working? Well, that's because it can't decode all files in Mario Sports Mix. Menu and tour are compressed a little bit differently than the normal. Plus, it would be way too big, as you can see, compared to the file size. MDL of the tour just alone is 5,000 kilobytes, opposed to only like 400 decompressed. So, what can we do? Now, we need to use Brawl Crate only. So Brawl Crate does work with this, but most of the time you're just going to want to use Yoshi's tools because it's much more faster, efficient, and it works better. So, as you know, we can just replace using just right-clicking it, and then we can go into our folder, find our texture right here, daisy.txt, and we use CMPR, and we see that it's working. So we can just replace all of these other files too, and cue the time lapse. So as you can see, you're going to notice one texture is missing, and that's our icon. So we go right here. Our icon is right there, but obviously there is no icon in the menu or tour file since it only appears in game. So we can just go ahead and save this, close out, and do the same thing with tour. Cue the next time lapse. And done. Once you've done that much of work, we can go ahead and close this out in Brawl Crate, and just make sure one more time before we compress it that it's all colored to make sure you're not following any problems. And then we can go ahead into LH and then file compress, so we can compress these two files. They do take a lot longer just because they're much bigger, so just give it a second. And both of our files have been compressed into these right here. So just like we did with the others, we can go over here and paste it in here. So our menu and our tour have been replaced. So I'm not going to go into the tournament. You can test it out for yourself, but just for the sake of time, this video is already lengthy enough. I'm just going to go into the menu and show you that it works. So as you can see now, we're in the menu, and Daisy is definitely blue. So I'm going to go back out from basketball. Sorry, I didn't realize this earlier, but I'm going to go into hockey just to show you that our hockey is working. The hockey file has been replaced. So click on Daisy, and then we can go into a game. Okay, so we're in game now, and as you can see, we have Luigi and Daisy, definitely blue still. And as you can see, it's just all working. Icon is replaced in hockey also. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks so much for watching to the end, and I'm really excited to see any creations that people have made. I know this sounds like every other YouTuber, but I'm wanting to hit 500 subs soon so that I can start doing community posts and share other stuff while staying more active. If you want to join the Mario Sports Mix Discord server, I'll leave that in the description too. Anyways, have a nice day.